Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm your host, Tom, bringing you another episode of Brands Bites, from the latest tech to the newest news on tech. And jumping straight in with Tesla does not care about its Australian market at all. So Tesla will be canceling its Model S and Model X orders in UK and Australia. And this is straight up because they don't want to produce a steering wheel on the right-hand side of the car, therefore eliminating that market for S and X vehicles. I believe they still plan on doing Model 3 and Model Y vehicles. It sounds like they just don't sell enough Model S and X to make it worth having that production line, because you really do have to have a separate one when you have to flip the entire car. It's hard to run that through an automated process, as Tesla has. It's a lot easier when you hire people to do it versus you have machines that have to switch in and about. So with that, if you have a Model S or Model X order, you have been fully refunded any payments you've issued, anything towards the vehicle. You've also been offered a $3,000 credit towards a Model 3 or Model Y that will be valid until October. Now, this does suck if you wanted a Model S or X and you wanted a new one. Obviously, you could still buy an old one in the country or one that's been manufactured already. But if you weren't one of those people, you're now stuck buying a Model 3 or Y, which just might not be what you want. Maybe you do like how the S or X looks. Maybe you wanted the faster vehicle. Maybe you wanted, the more premium Tesla premium vehicle out there. And that's just not going to be a possibility anymore for you. Now, this does kind of suck, but at the same time, you can kind of see where they're coming from. It's not like they're a huge manufacturer that's going to sell a ton of vehicles in those areas. They're just not going to sell that many Model S and X's in those countries. So why bother, I guess? It sucks if you are someone who lives in the UK or Australia, but at the same time, it kind of makes sense. Now, these are the only two big countries that really do this, so maybe they should just switch their roads. Just a suggestion. I know that's a lot, but it's got to bother all car manufacturers that they have to do this. And with that, that's too bad. You could always get a left-hand drive vehicle, but I believe that Tesla cannot sell those in those countries, so you still can't order one of those. You'd have to find one locally. Just a weird move. It makes sense, and again, just a weird move, and sucks if you live in the UK or Australia. Following up, your favorite show on Netflix could be on the chopping block, as they plan to cut down $300 million worth of content. Now, their goal is actually to reduce their spending by $300 million this year. That could come in a lot of ways. That could become, instead of doing their Netflix originals, maybe they stop doing that. Maybe they'll stop paying for certain shows and they'll just get rid of those ones to do it instead. Now, this is a small cut, to be completely clear. Last year, Netflix's total expenses were around $26 billion, so that is quite a bit more. But they have been trying to maximize profitability since its reported first hit to subscriber count in the last decade. So they're finally starting to hit the maximum amount of subscribers, at least for now. Now, the password crackdown, which has tried to help them gain subscribers by reducing shared accounts, has already been rolled out in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain. Now, the remove does require you to set a permanent home location for their account, and if anyone doesn't live with them and tries to access the account, they will be asked to buy another profile. Now, Netflix says there are 2 extra members allowed per account per free, though this varies country to country. And this crackdown, I don't know if it's going to end up working that well for them. According to market research, in Spanish users, they canceled about 1 million subscriptions in the first quarter of the year when the company began restricting this. This is something that maybe the way around this password sharing thing is to say, hey, if you're going to password share, that's fine. We ask that you pay this price, which is less than if you were to both go get your own subscription, but doesn't shortchange us. And then maybe you explain just a short blurb about, if you do password share and you don't go to the higher tier, we can't do these things for you. Maybe there's a way to do it that way. Maybe they just got to find, maybe these ad supported video is going to be the new thing that takes off. Maybe all these platforms are going to basically move back to how old cable used to work. Maybe the benefit of having one of these is instead of waiting for it to air, you can always watch it at any time, but you still get ads. Maybe that's the only benefit these streaming services are going to be able to offer with things like this. Because I do think, for the most part, if they do crack down on password sharing in the US, I think they're just going to see a huge hit to subscriber count. Because I think most people are going to go, well, this platform doesn't do it. They have enough content. It's not like Netflix is, I mean, they're like the name brand you think of, but it's not like they're the only ones anymore in the space that kind of lock it down to that. And I guess I'm going to jump over to our next topic, which is YouTube TV is reportedly the only live TV provider to add subscribers in the past year. This includes cable TV, this includes streaming. I'm a little shocked that they're the only ones to add it for streaming. I understand how big cable companies might be losing it. But for YouTube TV to be the only one, and they've been raising their price. It's not like there's this big bang for the buck they used to be. They're still raising their prices. Now, with YouTube TV, they've basically added about 300,000 subscribers, which is incredible. That is a huge amount to grow in such a quick amount of time. And with that, cord cutting is growing faster than ever. With the number of Americans paying for cable TV has dropped to its lowest since 1992. Now, it's not just cable TV companies losing TV customers. Even streaming services like Hulu, Fubo, and Sling TV have all reported losing subscribers. So my guess here would be that YouTube TV actually offers a lot of the like mainstream channels that you would think of, and I don't think like Fubo, Sling TV, and Hulu necessarily do. I think YouTube's like the closest competitor to the mainstream cable, and people know how to navigate the YouTube app, which makes, I think, it a little bit easier to convince people to there. YouTube's a name brand in video. It's easier to pull people from cable companies to another name brand than it is to pull someone to Hulu, Fubo, HBO, whoever else. I mean, Netflix, again, that's kind of why they're going to be number one in streaming for a while, is because, well, they're the name brand. So with that, we have a lot of things happening here. During that same period that YouTube TV has thrown on 300,000 subscribers, Hulu Live TV lost about 100,000, Sling lost about 200,000, and Fubo lost 160,000. Which also begs the question, do people even care about live TV, or do they just care about sports? And how many people that care about sports only watch one sport, where it's like, I'll just pay the NHL subscription app because it's $130 for a year, which is way less than I'm going to pay for cable. And other than that, I don't really watch TV. Like, there's so much at play here. Maybe they don't even watch other sports, or maybe they only watch football. So they pay for YouTube and football, and that's it. So it's like $260 a year. And that's, that's a lot cheaper than cable. I mean, that's 4 months of cable. That's even 4 months of YouTube TV now that YouTube TV is like $65 a month or whatever. It's not worth it if you do want to watch a show for $10 a month, you're still looking at a pretty good deal overall. So most cord cutters, especially non-sports fans, find themselves switching to on-demand services. Like I suggested, way cheaper, you get what you want, no ads. Even sports fans are only subscribing to live TV streaming services rather than their favorite sport is on TV. Like I said, they're just going straight to the source, paying for that instead. And I think what's going to happen here is either these cable companies, for some reason, I mean, most of them are even internet providers or paired with them. I don't see why they wouldn't pull a Netflix, put their servers on, Comcast servers and be like, hey, this is our live TV content, and you can access it from anywhere on our app, versus they geo-lock things all the time where you can't watch things certain places, or it's like the app just sucks to download things to or use, or you have to connect to the internet to like prove it's your account. They just need to streamline it to more of a basic streaming service to make it easier for people to use. And I think that'll go a long way in terms of helping those companies stay relevant and even gain subscribers back. They also need to stop doing the BS. They just need to move to an easy sign up. This is your monthly payment. If you want these channels, this is our extra. I mean, just like YouTube TV, they just need to match that. And I think they could keep a ton of subscribers. In terms of these Paramount, these Fubo, Sling TV, and Hulu and stuff, to be honest, I don't think they're ever going to take off to the full extent. I just don't see it happening. Maybe one of those big cable companies should buy out one of those companies to kind of close the gap a little bit, jumpstart their process. But until that happens, it's really hard to say where this is going to go and where it's going to end up in the long term. Next up, ChatGPT, the premium, the plus, or whatever it's called, was okay. It wasn't a great offering. For $20 a month, you got access to basically always have access to ChatGPT. You got GPT-4 early. You were kind of prioritized in terms of getting responses, blah, 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 blah. Now, that was fine. That wasn't the greatest thing ever. It was, I mean, if you like really were using it daily for work or for some reason just needed prime access to it, then it seemed pretty great. That said, it wasn't the best deal ever. I mean, for $20, again, that's a lot of money a month for really not that big of an update over everyone else. But that is about to change. So OpenAI announced on Friday afternoon, a while ago, that, yesterday, that they are going to have a huge update for ChatGPT premium subscribers. It will allow ChatGPT to have a live access to the internet. It'll have web browsing, and you will also get plugins as a paid subscriber. So this is actually what I believe is going to make paying that monthly subscription majorly worth it. Even for somebody like me setting up this show, pulling up these articles, why not just ask ChatGPT, hey, these are the companies I care about, these are the tech news I care about, what happened today? Give me like 10 articles and write some summaries. And now it could actually go out there, find the real live articles and do that for me and just spit out a show, basically, make this way easier to go through. And that's going to be a huge change. The other thing this is going to be a major deal for is with plugins. They've talked about plugins. They've showed off them a little bit. They haven't released them to the public in any form. But for Plus subscribers, they will now have access to this. This is a huge deal in terms of ChatGPT wasn't very good at math, but with the Wolfram Alpha plugin, you now can do that extremely easily, and that'll be sick. This is just going to be a huge, I mean, there's plenty of other plugins. That's just one of the ones I can think of off the top of my head. But this is going to be a massive change. So there's 70 plus 30 third-party plugins already. One plugin will just compile relevant sport news and information. I mean, there's going to be so many cool things you're going to be able to do with this coding-wise, be able to code actual whole things out. You know, ask your PDF. You can send a PDF to ChatGPT, have it parse through it, and give you responses based on it. I mean, this is the turning point of ChatGPT as they add these subscriptions. This will be the thing that really blows it up past what people are currently using it for. Like I said, the model is super cool. It's super useful as is, but these plugins and live internet access is really going to set this apart and give it such a great, just outstanding lead on. I mean, Bard has been leaping forward and catching up. Google has been doing that. And now this is going to just push ChatGPT further along, especially with plugins. I would like to know how this is going to work for plugin creators. Like, if you use a plugin with it, will that also allow your $20 subscription to go partially to the third-party plugins? Or is it kind of like, you know, either you pay for the plugin or you pirate the plugin? You know, I'm not saying you should pirate. I'm saying, you know, maybe that's what happens. But yeah, this is, you know, ChatGPT 4 still has some issues. Sometimes it doesn't say things correctly, but plugins are a big fix to that, where basically instead of just having ChatGPT figure it out or the coders of ChatGPT figure it out, you have straight up the, you know, random users figuring it out, which often will lead to better and more innovation. The other cool thing you could see with this is meal planning with internet browsing and all the, you know, meals on the internet. Being able to have a plugin that you go, hey, I need a weekly food plan. This is what I normally eat. This is what I like. Make me a plan. I need to stay under this budget. Boom, scours the internet. You say, I want to shop at this store. Might be able to even put all of that together for you and just spit out, here's what you need to do. Here's what you order. You can pick it up, whatever. And just, this is going to really shoot this forward. Having live internet access, I think, is honestly the biggest thing. Plugins, I mean, are right up there. They're neck and neck, but to do it all in one update is going to be a massive ChatGPT update. And lastly here, we have Sweden is building the first permanent electric road that will charge moving vehicles. So I don't know how well this will work, and Sweden seems to always be doing wild things with their roads. I believe they were the same country that was putting in solar panel roads at one point so that they could have solar panels in the ground Because in reality, as you're driving along the road, you're only covering it for a short duration. So solar panels make a lot of sense. Now, this is interesting. The country has already piloted 4 temporary electrified roads, including in the city of Lund in southern Sweden, pictured above. But this 13-mile stretch of road is going to be permanent. Now, I don't believe there's much information in terms of like how much it'll really charge, what it'll really be capable of. But based on what I'm seeing here, this electric bus driving along, it essentially either looks like a wireless charger is going on here, or you basically just have something similar to those electric trains that have the wires ran above that they just use that, but in the ground. So this is cool tech. It'll be fun to see what this looks like in a while. I don't know how much sense this is really going to make. In March, suggesting that combining a combination of electric roads on 25% of the busiest national European roads and EV home charging would be optimal for the transition to EVs. I don't know. This is almost like going to have to be only in-house vehicles, like only government vehicles are going to be able to use this, because your Tesla's not going to charge as it drives along this. So there's a lot of questions to be figured out here. Clearly they've piloted already. Clearly they have an idea, but we'll see what this I just thought this was an interesting idea. Solar panel roads honestly sound cooler to me. I don't know how well those end up working in hot and cold environments or 4-season environments where you have fluctuation in temperatures that are so rapid that the roads have to expand and contract quite a bit. Don't know how solar panels fare in that environment. Also, question mark on in the winter if a snowplow goes over a solar panel, how much damage does it really do? What weight can they support? There's a lot of questions with this, and I still have a lot of questions about why they're doing this, but they're moving forward with it. I guess we're going to find out the hard way because Sweden is all in on it. And with that, thanks for watching this episode of Brands Bites. If you enjoyed it, let me know down below. Comment on what you want to see more news about. If there's something I missed, let me know. And follow me on Twitter for more information at TomBrandMedia. And I will catch you guys in the next one. See ya.